Joining me now, Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor. Christian, it's good to see you as well. This is really interesting because nobody from the Biden administration is in attendance. And these bank CEOs boycotted this conference in 2018 as a result of the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. But they're all back at the table and they're having a conversation in Riyadh right now at a really critical time with U.S.-Saudi relations. That says a lot to me.
It does. And, you know, it's seldom I find myself in agreement with Wall Street bank CEOs like these, but I think they've made a practical choice here in going. Saudi Arabia, we may not like things they did, although I think it's important to keep in perspective their human rights abuses versus others like Turkey or the large number of other oil-producing countries around the world. This is the largest exporter of oil, but what really brings these CEOs is not access to that oil or that trade, but just the sheer amount of capital this region is accumulating from high oil prices and their ability to invest it. Saudi Arabia is building a brand new mega city in the desert called Neom. Countries next door, the United Arab Emirates, has been at work for more than a decade reinvesting this capital from oil proceeds into an economy that comes after oil is no longer as significant as it is. And you have a lot of money rushing into places like Dubai from around the world. So these bankers recognize it, even if the administration doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I think it's something to focus on, especially at a time where, you know, we're worried, are we in a recession? Are we headed into recession? Either way, these CEOs have said that there are economic headwinds ahead. And there's no doubt that they're trying to brace for them internally. And I think that they're looking abroad for other revenue sources, places where they can invest, places where deals are happening, because they might not be happening in this country. And so I say, you know, they're following the money, even if Joe Biden, you know, is mad at the Saudis.
That's probably right. And Jamie Dimon, the JP Morgan Chase CEO who you pictured, has been long saying that we're likely heading for recession. He's also been saying that the market has not bottomed yet, has lower to go. And that was even before this most recent surge this week. So I think they are looking for that. There's another issue here, which is that one of their favorite emerging markets for these somewhat apolitical, amoral CEOs was China. And China, the bloom has been off that rose for a while with its repressive authoritarian turn. And just after the people of the Chinese Communist Party Congress that concluded, the market's been tanking in Asia, at least in China, because they realized that that will not be the darling that it was. So if you look around the world, the United States heading into recession, Europe heading into deep recession probably this winter. Middle East is actually looking pretty good, especially if you focused on those Gulf oil exporters who may talk a game here and there about net zero and greenhouse and climate change alarmism, but who have been focusing on increasing their production capacity.
That's a great point. And there are a lot of people out there, Christian, who say the United States wouldn't be in the boat that we're in. We wouldn't be so reliant on OPEC and Saudi Arabia's decisions and the decision to cut 2 million barrels a day while we're draining our own SPR. And the president's going to reach into those coffers even further. If the president's policies had been more realistic, it's a lofty goal and something certainly to focus on, to say we want to try to move towards alternative forms of energy. But right now, we need the fossil fuels, and we don't have them here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if you look back, peak U.S. oil production was in 2019. We haven't gotten back to that level of peak Trump administration domestic oil and gas production because of this administration's war on domestic production. But regardless of how much we produce in the United States, even if we're a net exporter of energy, as we were at the end of the Trump administration, we'll still probably import oil. That net export you achieve because of our gas exports. So you should try to do real diplomacy with Saudi Arabia, with whom we've been partners since 1945, and these other Gulf states. They're also, Saudi Arabia is the largest purchaser of U.S. arms. There's just a lot of reasons to try and get past diplomatic hangups. And Biden actually sort of took the first steps. He incurred all of the downside of the fist bump with Crown Prince MBS, the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia, but didn't follow through with anything that actually helps the U.S.
Well, and now he's threatening them, saying that there will be consequences as a result of the OPEC plus production cut. I can't imagine that would help things much. And I also just want to make the point that you brought up, which is that the Democrats say we're back to the production that we were pre-pandemic. They add back the 1 million barrels a day that they're borrowing from the SPR into that production. And that does give me a little chuckle. So I'm glad you found it funny, too. Kristen, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jake. Bye-bye.
All right.